everybody! Well, my first attempt at a story time down by the river didn't work out so well, so I'm sorry about that. So we came up here, we're still near the river, but you can't see it quite from here. It's kind of a bummer, isn't it, Corky?
Yeah, kind of a bummer. But I still get to go play in the river.
I know, he's still excited. He's going to go play in the river. What did you bring with you today?
I got my net and my bucket, and I'm going to see what I can catch in the river.
That sounds like so much fun, Corky. Yep. But do you have a buddy to go down to the river with you?
Yeah, my friend Lana's going to be my buddy.
Okay. And as long as you have a grown-up nearby and a buddy, it's safe for you to go play down by the river.
Miss Lana, can I go play now by the river?
Yeah, you can go play by the river, Corky, as long as you have your friend Lila to go with you. Bye-bye. Have fun. Well, since it's April and we're doing a river story time, April is National Poetry Month. So I wanted to share a poem with you about the river. And it's called The River. And this poem is by Clive Reich. This poem is kind of like a call and response thing. It asks a question, and the answer to the question is always the river. So you can help me answer the questions in the poem. Every time I hold up this page, you can help me say the river. Okay? Here we go. The River by Clive Reich. Who lives forever? The river. Who sees all weather? The river. Who rushes past kings with their crowns, swords, and rings? Who bubbles and sings? The river. Who goes all places? The river. Who sees all faces? The river. Who dawdles, who gushes over boulders and rushes? Who pulls and who pushes? The river. Good job, friends. If you liked that poem, there are other poems like that in a book called My Very First Poetry Book that was published in the UK in 1984. And again, that was The River by Clive Reich. Now I'm going to share a story with you about a river that comes from India. And in this story, we might get a glimpse at why turtle shells look the way they do. Why are they bumpy and have lines and cracks all over them? Maybe we'll figure that out in this story. This story is about the talkative turtle. Once upon a time, next to a great green forest, next to a softly flowing river, lived a turtle. This turtle was very talkative. In fact, he very rarely ever stopped talking, and all the animals knew this about Turtle, and so often they would avoid him because it was hard to get a word in edgewise. For instance, one day Turtle walked up to Rabbit, and he said, "Hello, Rabbit, how are you today? You're here, and I'm here. Why don't we have a conversation? Hey, what did you eat yesterday? Did it taste good? What do you think about the weather? Let's talk. Don't you want to talk with me?" Well, Rabbit, as soon as he heard Turtle talking, he hopped off into the woods as fast as he could. Well, other animals weren't so lucky, though. One day, a flock of geese flew and landed on the side of the riverbank next to where Turtle was. They were migrating south, and they had all gathered there to wait for the rest of their flock so they could all fly south together. Well, Turtle saw them land, and he thought, here's my chance. A captive audience. I'm going to go talk to them. So he quickly swam across the river, talking to himself the whole time, and swam up next to the leader of the geese, and he said, "Hi, Mr. Goose. How are you today? I'm so glad that y'all stopped here on the side of my river. Hey, are you flying south? Is it warm in the south? I wish I could fly south. I've always wanted to fly. I wonder how I could fly, because I don't have any wings, but it would be wonderful if I could go with you south. Do you think you could take me south with you when you go flying?" Well, the goose knew that once Turtle started talking, it was very hard to get a word in edgewise, and there's no telling when he would stop. But he had an idea. He thought, maybe if I give Turtle a job to do, then we can have some peace and quiet. So the goose said, yes, Turtle, it would be wonderful if you could fly south with us, but you have no wings. Do you know what? Do you see that rock across the river on the other side of the river? poking out there, and Turtle squinted his little turtle eyes, and he said, "Yes, I see that rock over there sticking out right over there on the other side of the river." And the goose said, "Well, that rock, my friend, is the thinking rock. And any animal that crawls up on the thinking rock and doesn't say a word is bound to have a good idea." Turtle said, "Oh, that's wonderful! I'm a very good thinker. I'm going to go get over there on that thinking rock and have a good idea about how I can fly south with you." So immediately he splashed into the water, swam across the river, climbed up on the thinking rock, talking to himself the whole time about what a good thinker he was. He settled himself down on the top of the rock and closed his mouth as tight as he could. And he actually did it. He didn't speak a word for probably 5 whole minutes. It was probably the longest that Turtle had ever been quiet his whole life. When he realized this, he said, "Oh, this really did work. It really is easier to think when I don't talk. And I have a good idea, too. I know how I can fly south with the geese." Immediately, he jumped back into the river, swam across the river again, talking to himself the whole time, and swam up to the leader of the geese. He said, "Goose, Goose, I have the perfect idea. You were right. The thinking rock worked. It worked. I have a good idea. All I need is a stick, and then I can fly south with you." Well, the goose thought, "Goodness gracious, I thought we'd get at least an hour of peace and quiet, but he's only been gone for 5 minutes. Oh, I didn't think he'd really have an idea." But I said I'd listen, so he listened to the turtle's idea. "What is your idea, Turtle?" Well, Turtle said, "It's a stick, a stick. I need to find the perfect stick, and I will grab onto the middle of the stick with my strong jaws, and geese will grab on the edge of each end of the stick, and when they fly into the air, they can carry me into the sky, and I can go south with you, even though I don't have any wings." Well, the goose thought a moment. Oh, he didn't really think the turtle would have had a good idea, but he did, and now he had an idea of how he might get out of this proposal that the turtle had. He said, "Turtle, that does sound like a very good idea, but I'm a little afraid for you, because I know that it's very hard for you not to talk, and if you're grabbed onto the stick with your strong jaws, if you start talking, you're going to fall down, 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 and smack, and we don't want you to get hurt, Turtle." But Turtle assured the goose, "Oh, Goose, I know that I can be quiet. Everybody thinks that I can't stop talking, but I can stop talking whenever I want to. I was quiet for 5 whole minutes over there on the thinking rock, and I know that I can stay quiet the whole time you're flying south. I won't let go of the stick. I won't say a word." Well, the goose was thinking that he was really going to have to take the turtle south with him, but he had one more shot. He said, "Well, Turtle, if you can find the perfect stick and have it back here before dawn, we're flying away at dawn. Our flock is going to all leave together at dawn. So if you're back here before dawn with the perfect stick, then yes, we will take you south with us, even though you don't have wings." Well, the turtle immediately took off swimming, talking the whole time, "I'm going to find the perfect stick. I know it. I can find the perfect stick. I need a stick that's not too long, because I don't want it to get stuck in the tree branches. And I need a stick that's not too short, because I have to hold on to the middle, and the geese have to hold on to the edges. And I need a stick that's not too thick, because I need to be able to grab onto it with my strong jaws. And I need a stick that's not too thin, because I don't want it to break when the geese lift it into the air with me holding on to the middle. But I know that I can find the perfect stick. I just know it. I just know it." And off he went, looking for the perfect stick, talking to himself the whole time. And he looked all night. And right before dawn, Turtle found the perfect stick. He was so excited he couldn't wait to get back and show the goose that he had found the perfect stick. So he quickly dragged it back to where the geese were. And he said, look, Goose, I found the perfect stick. It's the perfect stick. Now you can take me into the sky with you, even though I don't have any wings." Well, the goose had to admit, Turtle did what he asked. He sat on the thinking rock, he had an idea, and he found the perfect stick. He was going to have to uphold his part of the bargain. So he said, "Yes, Turtle, you hold on to the middle of the stick, and we will carry you south with us. But remember, You can't say a word." The turtle said, I know, I can do it." So Turtle grabbed onto the middle of the stick with his strong jaws, and they picked 2 geese to hold on to each end of the stick, and the whole flock started to take flight. Now the 2 geese that were holding onto the stick couldn't fly quite as high as their brothers and sisters could, but they got Turtle high enough that he could clear the trees, and they flew, and they flew, and they flew, and Turtle was good to his word. He didn't speak. He held on very tightly with his strong jaws. Sometime that afternoon, they were flying over a village, and the people in the village looked up, and they were amazed. "What is that in the sky?" The people said to each other, "I've seen a horse fly, and I've seen a deer fly. I've even seen a house fly, but I've never seen a turtle fly. There's a turtle flying in the air with no wings." One of the men in the village looked up and he said, "Those are the most amazing geese I've ever seen. Those are the smartest geese ever. Why, those geese taught that turtle how to fly without wings." The turtle was listening to all this, and this made him so angry. It was his idea, not the geese's idea. He had had the good idea about how to fly without wings, and he just got madder and madder, and he couldn't hold it in any longer, and he said, "It was my idea!" And Turtle fell down, 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 thump. Turtle was knocked out cold. The next morning, Turtle woke up, and he crawled back to the riverbank, and he crawled into a hole to go to sleep to let his shell heal, because he had gotten his shell cracked when he fell. The next spring, when Turtle woke up from hibernating and he crawled out of his hole, his shell was all healed up, but he still had the bumps and cracks and lines all over it from where he had broken it in his fall. And now Turtle was a very different turtle. He wouldn't talk anymore at all. In fact, when other animals would ask Turtle a question, he wouldn't even answer. So even now, if you went up to Turtle and you asked him question after question after question, he wouldn't answer you. Now all turtles have the reminder on their shells of the lesson that turtle learned about never stopping talking in their lines and bumps and cracks on their shell. So that's the story from India about the talkative turtle. So maybe now we know why turtles' shells look the way they do. I have one more thing to share with you. It's a story about the river, and it's called The River Song. And this, if you like this song, you can listen to it on YouTube if you search The River Song by Two Little Rockers. Now this song has some animal noises in it, and if you want to help me with the animal noises, that would be awesome. It also has some pats and some claps and some hand motions. So if you'll help me out, we can sing this song together. Here we go. You can pat your lap just like this. I went down to the river. It wasn't very cold, so I jumped right in. Up popped a bullfrog, big and fat. He said, "Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. What do you think about that? Ribbit, 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 ribbit." I went down to the river. It wasn't very cold, so I jumped right in. Up swam a catfish, slimy, you bet. He splashed all around and he got me wet. Oh, the river. The river is nice and warm today. Oh, the river. Won't you come with me and play, play, play? I went down to the river. It wasn't very cold, so I jumped right in. Swoop came an owl down from his tree. He said, "Hoo, hoo, hoo," like he was laughing at me. Hoo, 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 hoo. I went down to the river. It wasn't very cold, so I jumped right in. Up flapped a crane with big white wings. She was flying over everything. Oh, the river. The river is nice and warm today. Oh, the river. Won't you come with me and play, play, play? I went down to the river. wasn't very cold, so I jumped right in. On the other side I spied a duck. He was waddling in the muck. Quack, 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 quack. I went down to the river. It wasn't very cold, so I jumped right in. Up popped a turtle from his shell. He said, "Shh, I have a secret, but I will not tell." Oh, the river is nice and warm today. Oh, the river, won't you come with me and play, play, play? Oh, the river is nice and warm today. Oh, the river, won't you come with me and play, play, play? Yay! One more thing before I go is you might want to read some books online about rivers. And so I looked on Hoopla, which is online, and you can get books and movies and music and audiobooks for free with your library card on Hoopla. And I found this book called A River. This is a picture book by Martin Martin. It has beautiful illustrations, and it has simple texts that are kind of sing-songy. And it tells the story of a little girl who lives in a big city, and she looks out her window and sees a river. She starts to use her imagination about what the landscape looks like in all the places that the river goes between where she lives in the city and the sea. So this is a wonderful book. If you want to read this book at home, you can check that out on Hoopla. Another book I found is called Down by the River. This book has a little bit more text in it. It might be for older readers, or maybe a nice book to listen to a grown-up reading to you. It's called Down by the River by Andrew Weiner, and it's illustrated by April Chu. In this book, a little boy named Art goes fishing with his grandfather and his mother. And his grandfather loves to tell stories. Now, Art is a little nervous because he's never been fly fishing before, and so he's nervous that he doesn't know how to do it quite right. But his grandfather and his mother are very patient, and they help Art to learn how to do that together. So this is a very nice book to read with our grown-ups. And you can check that one out on Hoopla as well. Now, if you would like a nonfiction book about rivers, there's a series called Our Exciting Earth, and they have one book called Rivers. And this is a nonfiction book with all kinds of information about rivers and important rivers and river plants and animals and how people have fun on rivers and all kinds of things like that, with wonderful photographs in it and a lot of cool information about rivers. This book is geared toward kids who are age 4 to 8, and it's a very nice read. Excuse me. So, I hope that you have lots of fun things that you're doing at home. Maybe your brothers and sisters are home with you. Maybe you're with your grown-ups. And I hope that you enjoyed our river story time. For those of you who know my goodbye song, hopefully you can sing it with me. And if you don't know it, you can learn it along with us. So for my goodbye song, we have to stand up. Here we go. Wave high, wave low. I think it's time, I gotta go. Wave your hair, wave your ears, wave your belly, wave your rear, wave your chin, wave your eyes, wave your hands and say goodbye. I hope to see you soon, friends. Have a wonderful day.